come on, Ambassador. He's a guy. You know something? I like him. Pete, you got to call Dave up and apologize. It's simple. You know, the cheese slipped off the cracker. I get it. You're ticked off. But call the guy up because you're a good guy, and Dave's my champion. The guy is just instrumental in these trade deals down in Washington. And, you know, something, people get hot. They get heated. I get heated sometimes. But just call the guy up and bury the hatchet. Because the ambassador's a good guy, actually. I love Dave. I like the ambassador. So he knows what to do. Come on, Pete, you've been around for before Moses. Call the guy up and apologize. Let's start getting back on track.
Something just snapped in North America's diplomatic circle, and it happened behind closed doors. Whispers from Washington suggest that a routine trade meeting between Ontario officials and the U.S. Embassy spiraled into chaos, voices raised, tempers lost, and a Canadian representative allegedly insulted in front of stunned witnesses. If true, it marks one of the most undiplomatic moments between Canadian and American officials in years. But what followed was even more remarkable. As U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra reportedly lost it, Ontario Premier Doug Ford didn't flinch. He didn't shout. He didn't storm out. He did something far more disarming. He stayed calm, confident, and unmistakably Canadian. In an age when political egos dominate diplomacy, Ford's quiet firmness may have just redrawn the lines of how Canada confronts provocation, not with rage, but with reason. Some call it restraint. Others call it weakness. But to many, it looked like leadership. And in the middle of this firestorm, the world is watching Canada, and wondering, has the polite northern neighbor finally learned to roar without raising its voice? Canada stands tall, Doug Ford's calm leadership amid diplomatic firestorm. When tempers flare in diplomacy, it's not always the loudest voice that wins, it's the one that stays composed, principled, and resolute. And in this latest dust-up between Ontario Premier Doug Ford and U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra, it's clear which side embodied those Canadian traits. Reports surfaced that Ambassador Hoekstra lost it, allegedly cursing and shouting at Ontario's trade representative, David Paterson, during a meeting in Washington. The trigger? A simple, factual ad campaign reminding Americans that even President Ronald Reagan, the conservative icon, believed in free trade with Canada. It was a bold but fair move by Ontario, one that highlighted the shared prosperity of U.S.-Canada economic ties and pushed back against the protectionist rhetoric still echoing from the Trump years. But what came next? The ambassador's public outburst was, in Ford's words, absolutely unacceptable. Instead of responding with equal anger, Doug Ford did what Canadians do best. He chose class over chaos. I like him, Ford said of Ambassador Hoekstra, his tone firm yet disarming. Pete, you got to call Dave up and apologize. You know, the cheese slipped off the cracker. I get it, you're ticked off. But call the guy up. In one sentence, Ford captured the essence of Canadian diplomacy: direct, decent, and disciplined. He wasn't dismissive of emotion, he acknowledged it, but he drew the line at disrespect. Ford reminded everyone that even in moments of frustration, professionalism and respect matter, especially when representing one's country abroad. And in doing so, he defended not just Ontario's dignity but Canada's reputation as a nation that believes in cooperation without subservience. This wasn't just about one outburst or one ad. Ford's response revealed something deeper, a renewed determination to defend Canadian workers and industries in the face of mounting U.S. economic pressure. When you have someone attacking your province, attacking your country, trying to take our auto jobs, our steel jobs, what do they expect me to do? Sit back and roll over? Ford asked rhetorically. His answer was pure grit: I'm going to fight like I've never fought before. This is the kind of language Canadians have longed to hear, not anti-American, but unapologetically pro-Canadian. A reminder that friendship with our southern neighbor does not mean submission. That trade partnerships work best when both sides respect each other's sovereignty and prosperity. The ad that sparked the controversy was no attack piece. It simply replayed President Reagan's historic message. A tariff on Canada is a tax on the American people. By invoking Reagan, Ontario cleverly turned history into leverage, reminding Washington that free trade is a shared legacy, not a partisan talking point. Ford's point was simple but brilliant: if the architect of modern conservatism supported open trade with Canada, then surely any administration, Republican or Democrat, should too. Far from a provocation, the ad was a wake-up call. My intention wasn't to poke the president in the eye, Ford said. It was to wake up the Democrats a little bit down there. And my goodness, it woke them up. The result? Over 11.4 billion views worldwide, a staggering figure that transformed a provincial ad into a global conversation about trade fairness. Ford's handling of the crisis offers a masterclass in diplomacy the Canadian way. Be firm without being hostile. Ford didn't mince words, he called the ambassador's behavior unbecoming, yet he never resorted to insults or escalation. Defend your people. His unwavering defense of Ontario's workers sent a clear message: Canada will not allow anyone, friend or foe, to undermine its industries or dignity. Keep the door open. Even after the dust-up, Ford extended an olive branch. Pete, do the right thing. Give the guy a call. Let's move on. That's diplomacy rooted in maturity. Canada's strength: quiet power, steady principles. In a world where global politics often descends into shouting matches and grandstanding, Canada's brand of leadership, calm, principled, and quietly powerful, stands out more than ever. Doug Ford's response wasn't just about smoothing diplomatic tensions, it was a reminder that Canada doesn't need to yell to be heard. Its strength lies in composure, fairness, and the confidence to stand up for itself without burning bridges. And that's precisely what makes Canada respected around the world. Because in the end, true leadership isn't about dominance, it's about dignity. This controversy may fade, but its lesson should endure. When others lose their cool, Canada keeps its compass. When others shout, Canada speaks with clarity. And when others act out of pride, Canada acts out of principle. In that meeting room, and in every boardroom or trade negotiation to come, Canada must keep doing what Doug Ford did: stand firm, stay fair, and never forget who we are. A nation that believes in dialogue, respect, and strength through integrity. Because that's the Canadian way.